Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Categorically Romance podcast. My name is Bree, and I am joined today by author Sasha Summers. Sasha, it has been a while since you last joined us. The last time was July of 2022. So we're at the end of December now, 2024. How has your December been?
It has been great. It's been a wonderful holiday season. I've had all my babies here. As a mom, there is nothing I could want more.
And overall, the year, when you look back, was it a good year for you?
I can be honest here and say that the last couple of years really have just been kind of meh. So I have high hopes for 2025. I'm going in with a positive outlook and all sorts of to-do lists and goals. So
Yeah. I've been seeing all these I don't know, Pinterest made boards, and people are like, 2025 is our year. And I was like, yes,
yes.
it is.
Yes, please. And I've told people, I don't even care if it's a boring year, really.
Yeah.
I just want it to kind of be smooth sailing. Nothing big has to happen. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Tell us two of your current favorite things. I'm loving hearing authors y'all's favorite obsessions at the moment. So what are two of yours?
Okay, so every year this time, one of my obsessions is gingerbread. Sorry, it's a seasonal thing, but I love my gingerbread. And the other thing that I'm totally addicted to right now, it's weird, are Chinese and Korean dramas. I've just discovered them, and oh my gosh, I have fallen down the wormhole. So there you go.
They're worth the hype.
They are, and they are addictive. Oh my goodness. So yeah, there you go.
How did you stumble upon them?
One of the writing conference organizers I know was posted a picture, and it was an actor that I had loved from a horror movie. I love horror movies. Train to Busan. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? She's like, oh, it's called The Great and Lonely God. You should watch it. That was it. I was done. 19 later. No, I don't know if it's 19, but it's been a few. Yeah, I'm officially addicted. So there you go.
Well, if you have had the opportunity to read this year, can you tell us one of your unputdownable reads that you've read?
Yes. It was Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. It's a full-on fantasy, fantastic world building, so unique. I highly recommend it.
What would you say is one of your current favorite colors to wear?
Pink or blue. I'm a girly girl,
Yeah. I'm wearing blue right now. Blue
socks.
Pink. What was one of the last songs to get stuck in your head?
So it's weird. It's called Beachside Tango, and it is by Dylan Wong. And yes, he is one of the C-drama guys. It's a rap. So there you go. Who knew?
You have two upcoming titles that I am so excited about. So first off, we're getting Love Letters from her Cowboy with Harlequin Special Edition. And then we're getting her Cowboy Cupid with Harlequin Heartwarming. So let's start with just cowboys in general, because I feel like cowboys are having the moment that they have deserved for a long time. So as a writer of cowboy romance, how do you balance traditional elements of a cowboy romance with your fresh, fun Sasha Summers sparkly twist?
Well, first I want to say thank you for the whole balance comment, because I don't know about that, but so for me, and I apologize if you hear chewing in the background. My dog found her chewy toy, but she's being quiet. Okay. So for me, cowboys are kind of like the modern, medieval knight, just minus the armor and replace it with a cowboy hat and boots. So it's like that timeless hero that just, I don't want to say they're easy to write, but I'm kind of married to one, so it is a little easier for me to write cowboys. And I think it's just kind of pulling on the things that we all look at as a cowboy, even though I know that there's typically two ways to look at a cowboy as far as the player or the silent guy. I try to, I don't know, make them slightly different heroes while keeping in mind that they need to stay, the way you visualize a cowboy. And then just pulling from everyday life. Goodness knows, between, people the things you hear, there's always drama out there you can kind of farm for good stories.
Yeah. Creatively, what do you say that it is that you enjoy about writing them?
For me, I don't want to say it's expected. They're familiar, I guess, is the best way to write it. I think a lot of my family, I'm a Texas girl, so a lot of my family, a lot of my friends have ties to the kind of idea of what you think of as a cowboy, be it FFA, FHA, rodeo, you name it. So it is a familiar kind of feeling to sink in, almost like visiting home.
Yeah, I told my sister, I was like, The next love of my life is going to be a cowboy, okay? I am
Find a
determined.
good one. Not all
I
cowboys
know
are
he's
created equal.
I know. I know he's out there, he's waiting on me, and I am
Yes.
waiting on him, so oh my gosh, I just have this vision, I'm like, I want to, like, go ride on horses on our
Yep.
ranch and things.
Yep. Nope. So, the best place to meet really good cowboys are going to all the little local rodeos. That's what I would recommend. The Stonewall Peach Jamboree, all that good stuff. Seriously, you got to go. You got to go.
I
And,
need
it's fun. Yeah.
Well, I adore the premise of love letters from her cowboy. How did is it Do I was saying Dougal, is it Dougal?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How did him and Emery's romance, how did it come to you?
Oh.
Because I am obsessed with the whole idea of this.
So we met Dougal in an Uptown Girls cowboy, and I had so much fun writing him. He is, for lack of a better term, emotionally constipated. He is not like in touch with his emotional side at all. He doesn't know what to do with himself. And in that book, the heroine's sister kind of comes onto him very strongly, and like he freaks out. So we know he is not romantically equipped, if you will. And Emery is just this kind of, she is this damsel in distress in the beginning, and there's just something about her, even though she is fragile, she's very determined to be able to handle it on her own, that he admires, because I don't want to say she's suffering in silence per se, but she's not laying on the drama, if you will, even though he can sense that there is something that she needs. And for some reason, that makes him want to help her, which is not like Dougal, because he's very standoffish. And then you throw in a couple of dogs, that he has a dog, she has a dog, the dogs like each other. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
And as far as the setting, because I've been writing, in this series for a while, it wasn't that hard to kind of pull people together and come up with the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, I had that question, and then I was like, well, I have to have her talk about what it's about because I can't tell people I'm obsessed with it. So, like, in a nutshell, what is their romance about?
So Emery has moved to, oh my gosh, Granite Falls. I'm like, the name of the town is, to kind of start over. She's now single, and she's living with her aunt, who was so much fun to write. She is a Dolly Parton addict. So she does everything from like the hair pieces to the cookware, you name it. She's kind of embodying Dolly. So Aunt Ruth was a lot of fun. And then Emery kind of finds this injured dog at the beginning of the book, and it's like she's determined to save it because it kind of represents all of the regrets she has. So Dougal is there when she finds the dog, and that kind of throws them together because, again, he sees this strong and yet vulnerable woman that for some reason kind of clicks with him. And his dog Willow, both the dogs are obviously based on my dogs, bond. And so it's kind of this unlikely connection through these dogs. And then there's a little mystery in this. I've never written anything that has kind of a little bit of a what's going on in the background, but Dougal realizes there's something going on at Aunt Ruthie's place, and because of that and the sense to help her, he kind of sticks around more than he would, and things happen, and it all turns out really nice with a happy ever ending.
Well, can you share with us any behind the scenes details of writing love letters from her cowboy? Like, did you have a specific playlist? Were there any movies you watched to get in the mood? Make a Pinterest board? Like, give us a behind the scenes deep.
So I, of course, make a Pinterest board, and I think it's public. I'm not sure. If you go to my Pinterest account, you'll see most of my book boards there, because I'm a big, like, when I write a book, it's like casting a film. So I go out and I find my people, and it's kind of a good visual representation for me. As far as playlists, I have a mix. I always do this. It's like a mix of soundtracks. I'm a classic country girl, so a lot of it's like the old George Strait and Brooks and Dunn and Garth Brooks. I mean, old stuff, because I'm old. And then some Taylor Swift. Well, I feel old. Okay, when I'm talking about music, I'm so out of the loop on new stuff. So yeah, I just go with again, stuff that helps me get in that mindset and puts me there in that town, if you will. So yeah.
Yeah. I went to a Dutch Bros one morning on the way to work, and they were like jamming out to some like new country, and they were like, what's your favorite country artist? And I was like, still Shania Twain. Like, what I don't know any of these new
classics.
When she thinks you're still the one, I still cry. Like, I have not heard it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, I kind of like in awe of a lot of the changing going on in country music, because the rap and everything else, and I think it's really cool, but it's not the way I think of country music. And so when I'm writing, I think, again, it's that familiar thing, right? You go back to the vibe that helps you not get distracted, but helps set that tone. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that old, like that storytelling in old country is just
Yes.
unmatched.
Yes, it's true. Some of them, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they packed all of that into a 2.5 minute song. It's awesome. So,
Well, I love Valentine's Day, and
yes.
I was, like, super excited when I saw your February release, her Cowboy Cupid. Will you tell us what it is about?
Of course. Now, first, I just have to say the cover is adorable. Oh
Oh,
my
so
gosh. When
cute.
I got
Yeah.
the cover, I like squealed because it's two little girls hanging little paper hearts in the tree, which is a scene in the book. So I was so excited because oftentimes, you don't necessarily get what's in the book on the cover. But yes, so we know Kitty and Tyson. These are our hero and a heroine from previous Garrison books. And Kitty is just kind of this very shy, kind of the sister that takes care of her brother and sister and father. She's very behind the scenes and quiet. And she has been in love with Tyson since she was little. And Tyson is just, very dry, not really into it. He's very focused on his career and taking care of his family. So he's kind of been brusque in the other books. And so I was like, okay, I have to figure out a way to, make him a little more approachable. And so the easiest way to do that, obviously, is bring in some kids. So he has temporary custody of his two little nieces. And they were I love writing kids, right? So it's June and July. How cute is that?
I love that. Love
And they come to stay, and Tyson is really out of his element with kiddos, he and his dad. So Kitty, who's like the aunt extraordinaire, and she helps sew costumes for all the little dance recitals and everything. So he kind of asks for help, and she, being Kitty, who helps everybody, steps up. And yeah, so they're thrown together a lot, and she's just awesome, and the little girls fall in love with her. And there's actually kind of a really funny love triangle. My editor was like, I don't normally do love triangles in adult novels because people get mad, or it's like, oh, this isn't, it's not mature, if you will. But she's like, this one made me laugh so hard. And I was like, yes, awesome. That's what I was going for. I've tried to put a lot of humor in this book, and I giggled a lot writing it. So hopefully readers will too.
Well, it has one of my all-time favorite tropes, and I don't know what this says about me. I think it's just because I'm the oldest, but it has like best friend siblings.
Yes,
And some of
yes.
my friends are like, ew, I never want to think about like my siblings' friends. But I'm just like, when you're the oldest, you just dream of having a big brother that had like really hot friends. I don't know. And a
Yes.
longtime crush. So like I just imagine like, did that part of the story come to you first? Or was it the temporary guardianship? Or was it like you wanted to do a Valentine's Day novel? Like what came to you first?
It kind of was the perfect blend because I knew, I guess several books ago, Kitty was already like, whenever Tyson would show up on the page. And it's weird for me. I don't always plan things out. Sometimes I'll be writing and a character will do and say something, and I'm like, where did that come from? I have no idea, but we're going with it. And that was Kitty and Tyson. So it was just kind of something that was already in my head, and it worked. And then, yeah, when we were kind of looking at scheduling and I saw where my release date was, I was like, oh, yay, I can do Valentine's. And Garrison is such a great small town that does festivals for all these different events. So I had all these ideas for what I wanted to do for their Sweetheart Festival. And yeah, and then, the little girls, again, it was just a way to help bring them together because without June and July, they wouldn't have been together as frequently as they needed to be for the relationship to become more than just friendship. And that journey, oh my gosh, like I said, if you read it, I hope you laugh a lot because I giggled while I was writing it. So
Well, how would you describe like you shared with us like you create a Pinterest board for like
mhm.
all of your books. I can
Yeah.
just imagine, was this one like full of Valentine's Day aesthetic or what?
Oh, yes. Yes. It was like, okay, and I also went out and I was like, okay, what kind of crafts, what kind of homemade crafts would you do? And this and that. But yeah, no, there's scenes where, the other guy that starts courting Kitty goes over the top with everything. So I really like great Google searches for what's the most outrageous thing a person would get for Valentine's Day. And this is what happened. So, here Tyson is just starting to become aware of his feelings for Kitty, and she's getting so wooed, like openly and aggressively by this other person. And here he is with, like, a homemade card kind of thing. So it was really fun. It was really, really fun to kind of, use everything that we think of for Valentine's, and in the end realize, you don't really need all of that to express, your actual true love. So, but yeah, no, I always love any holiday makes the book that much more fun for me.
Well, how would you describe your current writing era? Like, the more that you write, how would you describe the books you're releasing now versus earlier in your career? Like, what's your vibe?
I think it's kind of come on to me to just be steady and very contemporary, small town, mostly cowboys. That's not how I started out. If you go back and look at a lot of the books I released, I was all over the place. And part of me loves the fact that it is steady, and I know kind of once I get into a series, obviously, the people and everything, but I do miss a little, there's a little more wiggle room with paranormal for drama and high stakes, right? So I am working on a secret paranormal project that will be coming out next fall, and I'm excited about that. But most of my stuff will stay where we are as far as, cowboys and small town, because I think that's now what readers have come to expect from me.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would not be mad, like, a paranormal cowboy small town romance series for you.
I have pondered that many times. This secret project is not, there's no cowboys in it whatsoever, but I have thought about that. I was like, what could we do here? And I have some ideas, but I didn't know how receptive readers would be. So you're saying you're receptive. I'm gonna delve a little deeper then in the idea. Okay,
You
cool.
would love it. Okay. Just saying.
That's good. I always love hearing what people want to read. I post every once in a while, go on my Facebook page, and I'll be like, okay, guys, what do you want to see from me? Because really, if I'm not giving the readers what they want, why read me, right? And it's always interesting. It's always interesting to see the feedback. So good to know. Paranormal Cowboy is not a no-go. Okay, making a note.
You could totally do it. Okay, like, small Texas town that everybody else thinks has been erased off the map, but no, it's been, like, inhabited by, like, paranormal creatures for centuries and thriving.
That's awesome.
If you need a beta reader, I'm your girl. Just so
I love it.
I know that you probably are, but are you working on anything now you can tell us about?
Oh, yes. I am working on a new cowboy series. Shocking. So this one is for special edition, but it is definitely a darker, heavier, broody, angsty series, which I'm super excited about. High drama. When I pitched it to him, I was like, okay, think about This Is Us meets Yellowstone. And my editor was like, oh, that's a lot. And I was like, yes, I want it to be gritty and, angsty, and I want people to cry, but obviously you still have your happy ending. So I am doing all sorts of research for this one because it's going to be not in the hill country, which is a change for me because everything is pretty much in the hill country. But it's based on the 6666 Ranch, which is this huge, like, sprawling. I think the guy that actually is in charge of Yellowstone just bought it. And it's massive. It's like its own little town. So it's really cool to be able to kind of come up with ideas of, so you're going to have your own little town almost, but it's just the ranch and all the people that live there and everything that you need to support this massive operation. So it's really cool. I'm excited about that. So those, I've got the first 3 books under contract for that one. And I think they're going to be coming out not until 2026, which is fine because I have this one, I've got at least 3 more books coming out this year. Or 2025 rather. So yeah, we can spread it out.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, okay?
Exactly.
And where are you comfortable with everyone following you online?
I am on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I cannot wait
Thanks
for all of
for
these
having me.
books, and
Yay!
I'm looking forward to more cowboys. And like I said, Paranormal Cowboys with Sasha Summers on the title.
I have it written down. You'll be the first to know.